Welcome to the video presentation of sports performance analysis for basketball player. Basketball is a fast sports characteristic of the dynamic mind, skillful tackling, and strategic play. The game involved two teams competing to score points by shooting a ball through the opponent's basket. Understanding the physical demands, physiological requirements, and key performance indicator in basketball is essential for optimizing training, performance, and injury prevention. Basketball players engage in a variety of movements, including sprinting, jumping, cutting, lateral shuffling, and quick change in direction. Motion analysis is critical for identifying biomechanical patterns and optimizing movement efficiency. Physical and physiological demands. Endurance. Players need a combination of aerobic and anaerobic endurance for continuous plays and quick burst of intensity. Speed and agility. Quick acceleration, deceleration, and changes of direction in integral to the game. Strength and power. Essential for jumping, shooting, rebounding, and physical play in post. Flexibility. Maneuvering throughout opponents and maintaining range of motion in various sections. Physiological demands. Aerobic capacity, sustain energy levels throughout the game. Anaerobic power, quick burst of maximal efforts of sprints, jumps, and intense plays. And lactate threshold, endurance near the lactate threshold, prolonged high intensity efforts. Normative data. Vertical jump height varies by playing position, with guards typically exhibiting higher vertical jumps. Sprint speed depends on position, with guards being faster than forward and center. Common limitations. First is injury risk. Basketball players are susceptible to lower limb injuries, especially to the knees and ankle. Overtraining. Intense schedules can lead to fatigue and overtraining. Contact injury. Physical pay can result in collision and contact related injuries. SEBT, the Star Exertion Balance Test, is utilized to assess dynamic balance, stability, and lower limb proprioception in basketball players. This test is particularly important for evaluating a player's ability to maintain balance during various movements, mimicking, and demands of the sport. Equipments, yardstick or measuring tape, a tool to mark the directional lines on the floor. Flat surface, stable and level surface for testing. Cones and markers to indicate the reaching direction of the floor. Stopwatch to measure the time or count the second during the test. Procedure. Setup. A yardstick or measuring tape is placed on the floor to create a star pattern with line extending at 45-degree angles. Cones or markers are placed at the end of each line, forming the points of the star. Second is starting position. The player stands at the center of the star, balancing on the leg, reaching directional. The player extends the free leg and reach as far as possible along each line of the star while maintaining the balance. Reaching is performed in eight direction: anterior, anterior medial, anterior lateral, medial lateral, posterior, posterior medial, and posterior lateral. Measurement. The distance reached in each direction is measured using the yardstick or measuring tape. And repetition. The test is repeated for both legs, providing a comprehensive assessment of dynamic balance on each side. Assessment rationale. Dynamic balance. SEBT assess the player's dynamic balance during reaching movements in multiple directions, closely resembling the multidirectional nature of basketball. Stability and proprioception. The test evaluates the player's stability and proprioceptive control, crucial for actions like cutting, pivoting, and maintaining balance during defense maneuver. Organizing, organization and tailoring, position specific adaptation. SEBT can be adapted based on the player's position, considering the unique balance requirements of guards, forwards, and center. Injury risk assessment. Asymmetrics or limitations in reach distance may indicate potential injury risk or muscular imbalance, providing insights of injury prevention programs. Individualized training based on assessment results. Players with imbalance or limitations can undergo targeted balance and stability training. Integration into training routine. SEBT can be incorporated into regular training session, serving as both an assessment tool and a dynamic warm-up exercise. Line agility drill is designed to assess a basketball player's speed, agility, and ability to change direction quickly. This test is specific to the lateral movement and directional changes frequently encountered on the basketball court. Equipment used for this test is cones or markers to set up the drill and mark the starting and turning points. Second is stopwatch or timing system to measure the time taken by the player or complete the drill. And third is flat surface, a stable and level playing surface for testing. Procedures are set up. Cones or marker are placed to form a T shape on the floor and starting points is at base of the T and the players face forward. Starting positions. The player starts in an athletic stance with field shoulder width apart at the base of the T. Execution. On the command, the player sprints to the top of the T and touches the cone with one hand. The player then side shuffle to the left, touching the left cone. Next, the player side shuffle to the right, touching the right cone. Finally, the player back pedals to the starting position. Measurement. The time taken by the player to complete the lane agility drill is recorded using a stopwatch or timing. Repetition. The test can be repeated for multiple trials and the best time to record. Assessment rationale. Lateral movement. The drill emphasizes lateral movement, assessing the player's ability to move quickly and effectively from side to side. Agility. Changing direction rapidly is crucial in basketball, and the lane agility drill provides insight into the player's agility and speed. The time taken to complete the drill reflects the player's overall speed and quickness. Organization and tailoring, position specific adaptation. The lane agility drill can be adapted to mimic position specific movement, considering the unique agility requirements of guards, forwards, and centers. Game specific movement. The drill stimulates movement commonly seen on the basketball court, making it highly relevant to the sport's injury risk assessment. Observing the player's movement mechanics during the drill can provide insight into potential injury risk or movement imbalance. Individual training. Based on assessment results, player can undergo targeted agility and speed training to improve performance in lateral movement. Integration into training routine. The lane agility drill can be incorporated into regular training session, providing a practical measures of agility improvement over time. Progress tracking. Periodic assessment allows coach to track improvement into lateral movement, speed, and agility, guiding adjustment in training intervention. Illinois Agility Test for basketball players. The Illinois Agility Test is employed to assess a basketball player's speed, agility, and ability to change direction rapidly. This test is specific to multidirectional movement and closely stimulate the ability demands of basketball. Equipments, cones or markers to set up the ability agility course and mark the starting and turning points. Stopwatch to measure the time taken by players to complete the test. Flat surface, a stable and level playing surface for testing. Procedure. Cones are cones or markers are arranged to create a specific agility course. The course includes a series of straight sprints, lateral shuffle, and dialogue movement. The players begin in a designated starting area ready to initiate the test. On the command, the player sprints through the course, navigating through the cones, making sharp turns and adjusting direction as needed. Movement include forward sprints, lateral shuttle, and dialogue runs, incorporating various change of direction. The time taken by the player to complete the Illinois agility test is recorded using a stopwatch, and the test can be repeated for multiple trials, and the best time is recorded. Assessment rationale, agility. The Illinois agility test assesses the player's ability to change direction quickly, a critical skill in basketball. The time taken to complete the test reflects the player's overall speed and quickness in multidirectional movement. Lateral shuffle and diagonal runs is in the test mimic the sideways and dialogue movement commonly seen on basketball court. Organization and tailoring, position specific adaptation, game specific movement, injury risk assessment. Illinois test can be adapted to mimic position specific movements considering the unique agility requirements of guards, forward, and centers. The test closely replicates movement relevant to basketball, making it a sport specific assessment. Observing the player's movement mechanic during the test can provide insight into potential injury, risk, and imbalance. Zigzag agility drill test for basketball players. This test assessing a player's agility, quick change of direction, and lateral momental skill. Equipments used cones or marker to create a zigzag pattern. Procedure: set up cones in a zigzag pattern on the count. The player started at one end of the pattern. On a signal, the player navigate through the zigzag pattern as quickly as possible, making sharp cuts and change of direction. The time taken to complete the drill is recorded. Measures a player's ability to move laterally, make quick cuts, and change direction efficiently. Important skill in the basketball for both offensive and defensive maneuvers. The drills can be adapted to mimic position specific movements considering the unique agility requirements of guards, forwards, and center. It provides insight into a player's ability to navigate through a course that stimulates to unpredictable and dynamic nature of on-court movement.